Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm going to show my round two game where I played against Ting, a very good strategic player. This was at the Greater Cleveland Chess Quads on Friday night in June of 2023. My round one game I barely won, so let's see if we can keep it going, right? Okay, e4, and he went c6, the Caro Kann. I played d4, he went d5, take, and c4. I love the pan of attack. Not panic attacks. I don't like those. I like panic attack. All right, so after knight f6, knight c3, knight c6 had me a little excited because after knight f3, I thought he might go into the main line with this move. And here I have a lot of stuff planned. Like, for example, I would probably just take, go here. I do believe this is the main line. Queen b3. We're going to let them take there if they want to. And if they do this, we actually, oops, I can't take yet. Oh, they could take here. Wait, can they take there? It's a good question, actually. I'm not sure they can take there. Actually, something seems wrong here. This looks like this is hanging. Okay, and okay, let's just say we took this. That's pretty interesting, right? That would win a piece. But they have this check. So we go here, they take the rook. Ooh. But you know what? If they take the rook, I think we get this check. And here lies one of the main concepts in the pan of attack, is that if black brings out this bishop, okay, and if they play e6, or if they take, either way, the problem is this diagonal becomes extremely weak. And so, like, even in this line where it looks like we win a piece, but they're going to win a rook. Like, even here, we just have this check out of nowhere. And look, there's nothing to do. They're going to go here. We just checkmate them. Yeah. So, yeah, I was looking at this earlier, too. Okay, so we didn't get this in the game, though. Instead, he played bishop to e6. I was like, what? I've never seen this move. But in the database, it says it's the third most common move. So masters played this. This is like a real move. And even though it blocks the e-pawn, I was thinking there are ideas with this. I mean, number one is that they're threatening to capture our c-pawn. Number two is that this won't matter if they go for like a g6, bishop g7 setup. And guess what? That diagonal looks pretty good. He'll be aimed at this weak pawn. I played c4. There's no e-pawn. So this pawn is weak, and he would be attacking it with the bishop. So, I mean, yeah, so there's a lot of ideas here. So I thought about a couple things. I thought about knight g5, which, is this any good? I don't believe it is. I mean, even if I do take and do this, he still protects the pawn. Yeah, it should be totally fine, I would think. And it even says they can just go bishop g4. That's what the computer wants to play. To provoke f3, I guess. And then they go back to c8. Wow. So the computer's being pretty cheeky here. The computer's saying, look, I can move my bishop 3 times because you shouldn't have gone knight g4 and then f3 because now your knight has no retreating squares. And I'm going to kick you, and where do you go? If you go here, I might even take you. Like, okay, so I understand. That's a very positional, like, finessing going on there. Okay, but I didn't go for knight g5 because I didn't understand what that really does. I thought it's not really a big threat. Taking, I felt, gives black what they want. They can take with a bishop. So I didn't want to do that either. So I was very strongly considering this move, c5. But I wasn't sure what to do after b6. Yeah, I don't know. I guess after b6, what am I afraid of exactly? It looks fine, actually. Isn't it fine? I feel like I was worried about something, but I don't know what. And in fact, the computer says that white's like much better after b6. Instead, they should just play g6 here. It's probably what he would have done. But I do like the fact that c5 would play against this bishop. I don't know why I didn't go for this during the game. I think I was too uncomfortable with playing this plan, even though I've seen it. I've never tried it myself. So I'm going to have to try it in more pan of attacks. Like it's actually one of the normal plans you can play. So anyway, but in the game I did decide to take. So I allowed the wooden shield, as Hikaru Nakamura would say. That bishop's pretty good. But I could snap the bishop off. I didn't want to be so quick to allow this knight to d5, where he's permanently blockading my IQP position. Also, when you have an isolated queen pawn, you do not want to trade pieces in general. So I don't think I should be too quick to take that, unless I have good reason. So I went bishop e5. I'm pinning the knight. I'm going to play knight e5 and see what you do against that. So he played a6. I simply retreated my bishop, and he went e6. Makes a lot of sense. I think we were both using time here. Yeah, you can see the timestamps. I had 23 minutes, 22 now, and he went from 28 minutes to 20. Wow. So he was thinking about some other stuff here. I suspect that he wanted to go g6, but then talked himself out of it. I also suspect that he saw my ideas to win material, or maybe even just take the knight and create a weak pawn on c6. So I was trying to do stuff like that. I also have knight e5 right now, so he would have to calculate that. So he did go e6 though, which I think is a pretty good move. Computer agrees. All right, so after this I castled. He went bishop e7. He's going to just castle now and claim that he's totally fine and that my pawn structure is terrible. So I have to make some kind of decision, because I either have to find a very good initiative or a very good attacking, like maybe not even attacking, but a good like active position, something that would provide some sort of compensation for this weak pawn on d4. Or I need to get the two bishops. That's what I was thinking. If I get the two bishops, I've just noticed that in many, many, many positions, and probably this one too, if you get the two bishops, your pawn structure can be pretty messed up and it won't matter. The two bishops compensate for that. So I thought a long time here. I couldn't find anything great. I mean, I definitely thought about knight e5. Which I kind of like, actually. I mean, I thought if he just castles, though, I mean, if I take there, he just takes. If I take here, we could even take with a queen, right? Like, why not? And if I go here, attacking that queen, he just wins the pawn, right? Why not? Actually, does he win the pawn? Let's see. If he takes that. Oh my gosh. Do I have knight takes c6? Ooh, that's sick, isn't it? Look at this. I can just take the knight. You want to trade queens? Go ahead. This is with check. So white wins. They have to move their king. We recapture the queen. That's it. White wins. Okay, I didn't see that line during the game. I just stopped at like, oh, queen takes pawn. But they could also do knight takes pawn though, right? Like, oh, it's white's turn. Oh, after this, no, they have to move their queen. Yeah, so this doesn't work because of knight takes c6. That's cool. All right, anyway, back to the game. I decided to take the bishop. Now, I hope this is a good decision. I just wasn't seeing enough initiative, though. Like, I usually have, like, I know when I have the initiative because I play Smithboard Gambit. This is not a position that feels like that at all. Mainly because that bishop is here and not on c8. I think if the bishop was on c8, I would be able to get sufficient initiative and an attack on the king side. But with this bishop out here on d5, the wooden shield bishop, that's different. That's different. So I don't think I have compensation, so I took the bishop. And the reason is now I have two bishops and he doesn't. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to try to just like strategically outplay him from here. But yeah, that doesn't happen. So now we've reached the part of the game where I'm turning off the computer. And okay, here's our challenge, okay? We are going to look at the next few moves and try to figure out where I go wrong, because things go horribly wrong very fast, okay? After we come up with a plan, I'm asking for your help, even though you can't help me. Well, you can in the comments. Yeah, then after we come up with something or a couple things, we'll check with the engine. And this is what all players should do. If you're trying to get better at chess, I mean, this is what you should do. You turn that engine off, you analyze it yourself, you come up with some ideas, and then you check it with the engine. Okay, because I had many ideas and whatever I chose did not work. So let's try to understand why and what I could do to avoid that in the future. So he played knight takes d5. So, all right, I still have that pin. I played knight to e5. Now, this move's slightly risky, I would say, because when I play knight to e5, the knight on f3 is no longer protecting my isolated queen pawn. So, like, decisions like this are kind of big. Yeah, I took 3 minutes on it. I mean, they're kind of big decisions because I have to decide if I'm just going to, like, defend that pawn like crazy and then try to let him win it at some point with compensation. I'll be slightly worse, probably. Probably will. I mean, I'll be down a pawn, so I'll need some kind of initiative. Or I can try to play actively and have the 2 bishops and go from there. But I think when I captured on d5, I had already decided I was going to play passive, and I started to change my mind. So knight e5 seems inconsistent to me. So he goes rook c8, which is the obvious move. And I go rook e1. And yeah, and I think I had the idea here that I was going to capture on c6. And I was like, hey, I have an isolated pawn, but if he has an isolated pawn as well, or 2 isolated pawns, that should be compensation. I think I was wrong, though, but let's see why. He castled, and I played here. So knight takes c6, takes. Okay, so now I have 2 bishops, and he has 2 isolated pawns, right? So in just like a very quick outlook, this looks good. But now let's look at the dynamics. I think this is what I didn't understand. How do I attack this? That's one question I have. How do I attack that? Because, like, if you just look at the position and you come up with a plan, you're like, ooh, I should attack this, it's weak. I'll attack it. Or I'll attack this, it's weak. Okay, how am I going to do that? My bishop's on it right now, but it is protected. It can be protected some more. Queen could protect it. Queen could even go here, protect both. They could double protect both. I mean, that's very passive. I don't think they should even do that. They should probably counterattack. But it's very difficult. I need to get a rook on c1, which is what I wanted to do. Conceptually, a rook on c1 is great. And then objectively, it's hard to do, right? Like, I need to get this bishop out of the way. Where can I put the bishop, though? If I go here, they can capture it. Then I don't have 2 bishops. If they go here, they capture it and win it. If I go here, they capture and win it. You get the point. There's not really an ideal square for my bishop. So that makes it harder to go rook c1. So I realized, like, in this part of the game, I felt like right here, I just felt that twist in my stomach, like, wait a minute, I don't really know what I do, and he's going to play queen b6, and, like, what do I even do here? Like, what do I do? I don't see an attack, and so this pawn looks weak, and it should be weak, but it's not weak because we don't have a way to attack it. That's what I'm trying to get at here. This pawn, kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing. I have possibly queen a4. I have to move the bishop first, though. Or I have this, maybe, to attack it, but they just defend it. They have too many ways to protect that. They could even play knight c7. I mean, now let's look at my pawn. My pawn is just like open season, I feel. Right? Like it's already blockaded. Bishop f6. They just go queen b6, rook here, rook here. I mean, It looks so easy to attack and win that pawn. And like, do I really want to go full passive? I mean, I probably have to. But then I shouldn't have put my rook on e1 earlier. It should already be on d1. And I think this is where I went wrong because I was kind of wishing I had queen a4 here. At least then I could get my queen out of here with tempo on things, you know, mostly a6. And then bring my other rook over to protect my pawn. That is what I wanted to do. So I think it turns out that this whole thing might not be good. And yeah, or maybe if I do it, I have to take with the bishop. This goes against what I was saying with the two bishops though, right? Like, let's say they just take. Okay, well, I like the knight on e5, and I guess I could go here now. Actually, that's a fork. Okay, so they probably have to go queen b6. Okay, I'm not using the engine. I'm just making moves. I mean, I'm not sure what's oh, wait, we have this. Ooh. Okay, so this is looking a little more promising. It's a little more promising. But I'm also worried about them. Well, if they push this, we trade off our weak pawn. That's good. Okay, so I'm blabbing a lot, but I don't think the way I played it is right. I think if I was going to take, I should take with the bishop, which means I don't even want to do that. Which means maybe this whole plan was wrong. So let's see what happens. After knight takes and pawn takes, yeah, I went a3. I did not know what to do here. I was very confused. I'm like, yeah, what do I do? Like, I couldn't come up with a plan. So we'll have to see. Yeah, then he goes queen b6, and this is a huge problem actually, because I can't really move this bishop, and when I do move this bishop, he's going to take that. And I just can't seem to untangle. I'm in a bind. I've got this weak pawn. It's already attacked. It's already blockaded. This is like a nightmare IQP position. I went queen d3 because, hey, let's start in checkmate. Maybe they won't see it. He's only 1700. He won't see that. He won't see that. So bishop f6. Yeah, so he played g6. I thought this was correct. I thought I get a tempo with this move, but this doesn't feel, this feels like I'm mixing ideas now, right? Like I'm definitely like mixing ideas. My original idea was to have two bishops, and if he wins my pawn, so be it. And now I have two bishops, but I'm trying to play like actively with the initiative, and I can't win any pawns. They're all protected, and I'm kind of tied up. Yeah, I don't see any reason why white should have a successful attack here. Let me put it that way. I don't see any reason. Like, what do we really have coming? There's nothing too difficult. So yeah, and this is where things go really bad. I gave this pawn away, but this is actually a blunder on my part because I actually thought after this, I thought I could take on a6. That's what I originally wanted to do. Of course, they would take our bishop for free. So that's not good. And the other problem is that if I just play rook b1, which was my other idea, well, he can just go queen c6. Like, why not? Like, hey, let's trade queens. If you move too far away, I'll take. But if you take me, you know, that's going to attack your rook. Might go in there. Like, I don't know. I think, so I really messed up. So now let's see what the engine says. I'm curious what you guys think. But I gave a better plan from my perspective. I thought maybe even taking here might have been wrong. Computer does say knight e5 should be played. Knight e5. Yeah, because if they take us... Oh, they can't. They're pinned. Yeah, I didn't play this either, did I? No, I didn't play this in the game. I think I should have, though. I think this is the way to go. Because even after castles, we have the option to take this. And if we take the bishop and they do this, okay, I'm going to follow what the computer wants. Computer says play knight e5. And after castles, go knight takes d5. Okay, we did this. And after queen takes d5, go bishop e3. So this leads to, this is that same line I was talking about. And then I saw this, you know, and this is a rapid game. I saw this, not seeing knight takes c6. So this is when I say, like, tactics are so important. This is why, right? Because I had to see this. I had to see that from this position. From this position, I have to see that. Had I seen it, I might have gone for that line, which was the best line. And that's just to be equal. But instead, I didn't see it. I thought they would win my d-pawn, so I did this. Going for 2 bishops. Okay, it already says rook e1's a big mistake. Why? It wants to take on c6. Yeah, this is like, give up my 2 bishops. Okay, why am I doing this? Because they take, and then we have queen d3. Oh, we really are attacking that. I was kidding before. Now I'm not kidding. I'm really attacking it. All right, and then they should go a5, save the pawn. And we should go bishop d2, attack the pawn. And they should just castle. It's protected, so we can't take. And I guess you play on from here. Let's see, what would I do? Let's just see. I would want to bring the rook to the c file. And it says they can go c5. Okay, I would trade that as long as it's safe. I think it is. Okay, so I take. Okay, they're not really pinned or anything. And then it just is queen e2. Okay, so we're just playing a game of chess from here. I like that my pawn got traded off, though, so I'm not sure why black would do that. Why can't they just play here, like here? Why not? I guess, oh, we have knight takes c6. Oh, I didn't realize we have knight takes c6. So they're forced to play c5 because otherwise they just lose that pawn. But by them pushing, we get to trade off our weak pawn. Okay, computer's showing me some cool ideas here that I like. But guess what? In the game, it didn't go this way. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. It's too painful. So I took a3. Like, what's a3? I don't know. I'm like, maybe I should play positional. Let's keep pieces out of here. Yeah, but I think the real essence of what I did wrong is I failed to realize that this weak pawn actually isn't weak, but my weak pawn actually is. That weak pawn actually isn't weak. My weak pawn is. Because watch what happens. I mean, I saw he was going to win it, so I was trying to play active. And then I just blundered my bishop. so there you go. Yeah, and I had a minute left. But it just felt like I was beating my head against a wall this game. I don't know what to say. I'm definitely going to go over it with my coaches or coach. Hopefully I am blocker. And, well, I hope to do better next time because I honestly just blundered because I thought that after queen f3, I thought the bishop was hanging. And I was like, wait, it's not hanging. The knight's protecting. Like, oh, no. So then when he took there, I'm like, yeah, it's over. I mean, I tried to play like cheapos, but it doesn't, that's not going to work against somebody that is as good as Ting. So in this position, I actually resigned. And, well, I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.